live on Porreca Drive. I'd like to first thank you for acknowledging that the New Jersey Motorsports Park is disturbing many residents with the noise that it generates. And thank you for making an attempt to address that admitted problem. However, the proposed agreement does not solve the problem and is afflicted with the persistent flaws that infect many of the agreements that you men have made without a town developer. They are toothless. There are no consequences for non-performance and no expeditious mechanisms for enforcement in the event of a breach. And I'm not going to take some of my 5 minutes to give you the examples, but I'll be glad to tell you after. In addition, I actually think the agreement is a bit of a farce because the operational aspects of it, which is that section 13 that was added, is not something that you need agreement from the park for. The city has the ability legally to impose restrictions without agreement. Now, the first part where you're changing the MDA, you need agreement. You're changing agreement. But the operational standards you have the power to impose. So I don't know what the negotiation aspect of that was all about. However, there is an excellent benefit for the residents in the action that you initiated tonight. You have gone on record with a clear declaration that there is a noise problem. You have acknowledged that the track is a nuisance for many residents. The first step to solving any problem is to recognize and admit that the problem does exist. So this ordinance is that first step, and hopefully, collectively, we can advance from there. However, that said, I'm a little confused, if not bewildered. On the one hand, you're declaring that the noise is a problem. And in the very next breath, you announce you're going to amplify, not reduce the problem, by locating an ATV track closer to the residential population. You are saying a nuisance exists, and then you're saying we're going to aggravate the nuisance for you. I don't get it. You men are going to have to, those of you who vote, are going to have to, reconcile and explain yourselves and explain to your constituents these diametrically opposed positions. Good luck on that one. But I have some questions. Are you open to suggestions for amendments to the agreement that you have introduced tonight? And if so, what is the mechanic or the mechanism for bringing these suggestions to you in a timely way? And I say a timely way because you and I both know that when second reading comes along, the die is pretty well cast, and the comments that are made that night really cannot be, especially something like this, analyzed and digested. So how during this 2-week period are those of us who are following this and affected by it going to effectively get to you and say, well, what about, you can't do it here. What are you going to do about paragraph A, or does paragraph B really do this? Or why don't you take out all this language that says repeatedly, it doesn't say the track will do this, it says the track will make a good faith effort. So that's a problem. So that's one question. And the second question, probably more important, is are you committed to approve the ATV move because of the agreement you have introduced tonight? Newspaper reports indicate the track thinks you are. If you're not committed, do you somehow feel obligated to vote for the move, even though you're not legally bound? And one last thing, and I'm finished, I'm going to show you, other than like to get the answers, which isn't on my time, I trust. I have a point of order. I don't know that I'm allowed to raise it, but Commissioner Quinn is elected to decide, or it's been decided for him, I don't know which, that he is disqualified, as is Mayor Shannon. It is my understanding, especially in something like an ordinance and a public hearing, that when people are disqualified, they should step down from the podium, sit in the audience, and not even be there take any action whatsoever or to make up the quorum. And your solicitor will mull that over, but at the next meeting, I'd like to have a ruling on that. Maybe we'll discuss it in the interim. But you really should step down, not be a piece of it, not be a part of it, and not participate in any way. Thank you. But will you get me my answers?
My best.